Hey, what's good, fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy TYT, and you're on OMG, it's TYT. So, man, I'm back at it with another video, guys. I sit here and think about videos and think about how I'm gonna shoot them and things like that, but still don't shoot them. But man, I got a good one for you guys today. All right, now, growing up and collecting music is just in my blood, guys. It's in my blood. Like, you go to my aunt's house, she take me to her attic, and she has all kind of VHS and records, pristine records, you know. She showed me a copy of the Earth, Wind and Fire Faces record that she had. Look brand new. Man. Same thing with my grandmother. Like, coming up, every time we went to her house, like, it was music playing, and for the most part, it was something that just came out, and she had the CD or tape or whatever it was, you know. But then, and my dad's the same way. Like, you know, him and my mom, you know, like when something would come out, they would go and get it. And, you know, like the 45s and the singles and stuff like that. Because back in the day, like, they didn't have DSPs. And so you had to sit and wait for your song to come on the radio, or you had to go to the store and buy it. And that's what a lot of people did. So that's why in those times, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, people, it wasn't not normal for people to have huge record collections. Okay, and basically, I was talking to Ray the other day. That's my girlfriend, by the way, for people who don't know. But I was like, man, I remember when I was a kid, my parents used to listen to all different kinds of music. It wasn't just R&B and soul and all the stuff that, you know, Janet Jackson and Whitney Houston and Luther Vandross and Jeffrey Osborne. It wasn't just all that. And I kind of got the idea. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do a video basically talking about the records that I have in my collection that are my parents. So I'm gonna go through a few records and things that, you know, kind of that I remember from my childhood that my parents would listen to. Now, I remember before my parents split, my dad, like, and it was like this all way, because he worked during the week, and then on the weekends he was off. So Saturday, and it kind of carried over until, you know, until he got into his next relationship. But we'll be just sitting there jamming to the music, and he would just go one record after the other, just keeping it going, guys. And me and my brother, we just be sitting there messing up the words to the songs and stuff like that. But a lot of those songs I remember to this day. And even when I was younger, you know, like, I remember, you know, like, times where people probably won't remember, but I was probably like 3, 4, like 4 or 5 years old, like Head Start, not even 5, like Head Start, before kindergarten type stuff. And this was when we was living in this apartment building, and my cousins, they lived a floor up from us, but just across the hall. You know, and then I had another cousin that lived up on the 3rd floor. So yeah, like, we always had family around and stuff like that. And there would always be music going on. And when I was talking to Ray, I was like, man, when did it get to black people just listening to black music? Because it's never really been like that until, like, I can say, like, the 90s, and then now it's back to where, you know, people listen to everything. It's just weird. Now, I know some of you guys may not know what I'm talking about, but I'll just kind of get into it real quick, just so you can get an understanding of what I'm saying, and then I get back to my parents' stuff. Okay, so when I was in college, like I was into like I'm the type of person where I could listen to any type of music. You know, I could find some enjoyment out of any kind of music. You know, it's just what it is. You know, because music is music at the end of the day. It's not so much like what the music is, it's just how it makes you feel. You know what I mean? But in the 90s, you know, like I would rush home to watch Rap City and stuff like that. But then like when I was like a junior, maybe sophomore, junior in high school, you know, Rap City would go off, and then, you know, I would just turn to TRL or something like that. And then I would start getting into the music that they would play on MTV. So like one of my favorite bands back in the day was Oasis. Like that was one of the bands that I got into first was Oasis. Like they always, like that album that they had out, you know, they had a like Champagne Supernova was on there, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back at Anger. You know, I was into all that stuff. And then, you know, like they will also play like songs like Meatloaf, One More Dance with Mary Jane, like songs like that. And what was another one that I used to always sing? Oh, that Weezer, ooh wee you, and just like Buddy Holly. You know, so back in 95, 96, 94, 95, 96, those were the type of music that was out, you know, on MTV, though they would play on MTV. And sometimes I'll have like friends come over or family come in the house or whatever, and they'd be like, what the hell is you watching? Why are you watching this white stuff? You know, that's how they would be, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, you know, I like it, you know what I mean? And then when I got into college, it was kind of like the same thing. You know, like the car that I was driving for work, you know, I worked on campus and stuff, so I would drive a car around and, you know, deliver stuff here and there. And, you know, so it didn't have like no radio, you know, so you would have to just turn on the radio. You know, it wasn't no like CD player or nothing, you know. But anyway, so I would listen to the radio, and they had no hip hop or R&B stations, so I would listen to like, you know, the top 40 type stuff, you know. So around this time, this is like 96, 97, 98, and, you know, they would play Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, you know, all that type. So I knew all that stuff. And then, you know, when I would go out, you know, they would play songs like Barbie Girl, I'm a Barbie Girl, and you know, so, and then another song, I get knocked down, but I get up again, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, and then you would hear songs like classic rock songs, like Pour Some Sugar on Me. I mean, growing up, I didn't know about none of this stuff, but to the rest of the world, this stuff is classics. You know what I'm saying? That song, and what's the one? Brown Eyed Girl, you know, and then it's like some Bob Dylan songs and stuff like that they would play in the bars all the time, especially at the end of the night, like closing time, and everybody drunk. It's closing time, like just singing and stuff. But, you know, I was into that type of music, but the people that I hung out with really didn't know that type of stuff or really understood why I was, because they, you know, I guess that age where it just became, oh, we only listen to hip hop and R&B, that's it. You know, and growing up in Chicago, like the radio stations that we listened to, that's all they played. So I guess if you grew up in a different market where they played all different type of music on the radio, you'll probably have a different influence. Kind of like Ray, like she's more well-rounded when it comes to music than I am. So that's what gave me the idea. I'm like, growing up as a kid, you know, like, and when I'm young and stuff, like I would hear stuff like this, guys. War, Outlaw. I'm an outlaw, baby, outlaw, outlaw, baby. You know, and I mean, they are a band, you know, so it's not so much even, you know, when you get bands that's jamming out and just playing music, I mean, there's really like no genre attached to it. They're just doing good music, you know, some stuff that sounds good. You know what I mean? But I would hear stuff like that, and my parents, they would play all different types of music. And then, you know, for example, you know, I'll just pull a lot of them out. They, you know, this is a black group, but Slave, I haven't even heard of them before, but and these are straight out of my parents' collection. Lip Sync. Silent Treatment. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of stuff that my parents was listening to back in the day. And you know, this is all type of music, guys. Hell, Melvin and the Blue Notes. Queen. This is one of my mom's favorite groups. This is the album with We Will Rock You on it. You know, but I mean, this artwork on here is just ridiculous, guys. Like, the artwork is ridiculous on here. Like, crazy. So, you know, that's the type of stuff that would be playing around the house when I was a kid. But like I was saying, you know, my dad, like, he would play music. He would play music when he's cleaning up, and it was like he had like his own like order and stuff that he would play, you know. So I'm trying to find somewhere to put the stuff that I've already talked about, but you know, he would play stuff like this, guys. New Edition, Candy Girl, and these are the 45 that they would play. And kind of like how I love how people write their names on the album covers and stuff. I just like collecting stuff like that. My parents would always put their initials when they would buy records, because, you know, people would try to borrow your stuff, take it, steal it, you know. And I started doing that on my CDs back in the day, and then eventually I stopped. But then, you know, so he would play the Candy Girl. That's both sides, right? Yeah. And then, you know, he would come back with the Jealous Girl. You know, and I can still remember, you know, him playing this stuff and, you know, singing to us, and, you know, not like real, but just singing the song. And then, you know, one of my mom's favorite groups, and kind of what got me into DeBarge and Switch and all that. But DeBarge, so he would play I Like It. I think this is this is I Like It. But then he would also play All This Love. Which is on here. So when singles would come out, they would go to the store and buy the singles. It's an amazing thing, guys. You know, but then, you know, he would also play songs like this all the time. Sugar Hill Gang. I said Sugar Hill Gang. Funk It Up. Funk You Up. Sequence. You know, people talk about this song, and then it just takes me right back. Now, if you guys know who Angie Stone is, she's basically, you know, she passed away a few months ago in a car accident, but she originated in that group Sequence, and the name of the song is Funk You Up. So it's like, I'm gonna funk you right on up. We gonna funk you right on up. You know, and as little kids, you know, funk sounds like fuck. You know, so we would just, and then at the end of the song, you know, towards the end of the song, you know, more like the bridge, you know, they'd be like, get up, 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 sit back down, right on up, and then you know, they do that a couple of times, and then instead of sit back down, a guy voice comes on and they'd be like, sit your booty down. And we used to love that part. We used to love that part. But then growing up in Chicago, around this time, you know, like the Bears won the championship and stuff like that. And I can kind of remember that time too, because my uncle was living with us at the time. And then by the time the Bears won the championship, he had his own place. And I remember just being at his house. When they won the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl shuffle, and then just, you know, just music of the times that they have, you know, that I just pulled some of the stuff that I pulled out. Freddie Jackson. My mom loves her some Smokey. Smokey, Smokey, Smokey. She loves Smokey. She loved DeBarge, and she loved Billy D. Williams. Billy D. And Earth, Wind, and Fire. Reasons. Like, that's how I got up on Earth, Wind, and Fire, because my mom was such a huge Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. But then she loved this movie Mahogany with Diana Ross. So that's that stuff, man. You know, so and then I kind of you know, you know, some stuff that I had set to the side to talk about, but I didn't get to. Oh, it's right here. But my mom also loved this album right here. It's the Rolls Royce. Got two of these. Then of course, you know, they always played The Rapper's Delight. Ray Parker Jr., guys. Like, this was my dad's album. Like, he used to love that. I remember when I cut his hair one day, not too long ago, I played that album for him. He was like, I used to love this. But then Club Nouveau. Now, this album right here is just my childhood nostalgia right here. You know, around that time when this came out, you know, my parents was going through some splitting, but you know, all of a sudden my dad was just gone. But, you know, that album, and then growing up listening to house music and stuff like that, and then this song right here, I remember my dad playing this a lot too. Like you will hear that song come on. But then I had to pull this one out and just talk about it real quick. Purple Rain. I remember Thanksgiving, we took a road trip, and my aunts, they drove us to South Dakota to go see my uncle. Like, we went to go see Mount Rushmore and all that stuff. But, you know, on the way, we was listening to Prince. Like, you know, like we had two cars, and they had the CB on and stuff like that. And they put my cousin on the CB because he was singing a song. He was like, Purple Rain, ooh. So I just bringing up those stories, y'all, because it just, when music is, you know, music takes you back to where you were when it was popular. You know what I mean? Or when you was listening to those types of songs. You know what I mean? So that's why I love music so much, because it kind of just takes me back, and it kind of allows me to reminisce through the music. Okay, but then, you know, as I started getting older, you know, like, I mean, my parents split up, and then we would go over to my dad's house. And, and then, he started having all different types of music. Around this time, this was like when Keith Sweat was out. That's when this was out, guys. Make It Last Forever. What was the song on there? I wanna. That was the party jam. But this is like one of those albums that you can put on and just let it play. And I'm gonna record a video of my top 10 or 10 albums that you can just let play. So let me know in the comments if y'all want to see something like that, if that's a good, but Wild Wild West. So I could just remember, man, during those times, we would be in the, my dad, we would go over my dad's house for the summer. And, he would have the record player and stuff in the basement. They had a floor model TV. We would just sit down there and watch movies. So we did everything down there. And, and we slept on the floor down there too, me and my brother. But every time they were going to work and stuff like that, I would turn the stereo all the way up, and I would play this. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And the part that I would always play is at the end. The live at Union Square, November 1986. Wow. So just to hear DJ Jazzy Jeff transforming and cutting, and that was my favorite part of that single. And then also Michael Jackson Bad. That was the type of music that was popular during that time. But my dad, he'll be walking around the house with the music playing, and he'll be singing, sounding all crazy, hitting notes that he probably shouldn't be trying to hit. But the music, it just kind of changed, so from being a young kid, just listening to all types of music, or just hearing all type of music, to then, as a teenager, a young teenager, just listening to all hip hop and R&B, and then getting into college. And man, when I got to college, it was, I was saying, I was just listening to all type of music. And then, I got out of college, I started having my kids and stuff like that. And, I just got kind of back stuck in my ways. But I really want to know down in the comments, guys, have you guys ever experienced this? I know, I have some black people watching the channel that know what I'm talking about. For some reason, it just was not cool to listen to any other type of music. You play something and they'd be like, turn that off, man. Play something else. Because my friend Will, he got me into Kid Rock. And that album, Devil Without a Cause, that's another one of those albums where you can just let it play. You're good. Okay, so to wrap up the video, guys, I was going through some 45s to kind of talk about the ones that I was going to talk about my story anyways. And it's just crazy, man. I'm gonna show you guys these 45s. I got a nice stack of them, and I've been talking for a while anyway, so I'm just gonna run through these real quick. And these is from my parents' collection, but then somebody else's family, so around the same age group. You know what I mean? But first off, we'll start with this Barbra Streisand, guys. Barbra Streisand. You see what I'm saying? You know, you go through somebody's collection growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, you know, you know, you ain't gonna find no Barbara Streisand in their collection, you know. But then we got the Janet Jackson, you know, Control singles. Let's Wait a While, Control. It's another album. I mean, another record. I was like, man. So when songs will come out, people will go to the record store and buy those singles, you know. But this is that Shirley Murdock. I love this song. Can't Go On Without You. I love that song. But then The Moments, Love on a Two-Way Street. I like that song. Like, I remember getting into that song when I was in college, when I was driving back to school, and I would listen to oldies driving back. Fake, Alexander O'Neal. I got the 12-inch single too, so I got kind of excited when I saw that one. But then Entombed, Juicy Fruit. These are just, you know, songs that I heard, that I would hear all the time when I was a kid. Okay, but then I have a story about this song real quick, guys. Part-Time Lover. I think this came out like in 85. Yeah, it had to come out in 85. I don't even know why I always check. I know, I be knowing, you know. But Part-Time Lover, that album, that came out when my cousin was born. Or on, it was his first birthday or something. Yeah, it was his first birthday. We was at his birthday party, and everybody was like, you heard that new Stevie Wonder? And then it eventually came on the radio, and everybody, I just remember like everybody just moving their head. You know how they used to dance back in the 80s? That little bop. I just remember, you know, everybody loved that song. But I can remember when it first dropped and where I was at when people was first hearing that. But then we got Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald, guys, On My Own. You see what I'm saying? Two different. All right, y'all. So, man, let me go ahead and finish off this video. I got a different shirt on and stuff because, man, my microphone straight died on me. Let me make sure it's going now. Okay, hurry up. Let me hurry up because it's low right now, man. So I was talking about Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. So y'all already know those are two. They have two different genres of music that they do. But then I'll just cut it short and end with Howard Johnson. So Fine, man. It's just all the type of music that I grew up hearing around the house, and it wasn't just all hip hop and R&B, guys. You know, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You know, going through this whole little, you know, journey with me and hearing my music stories. I mean, that's why I do the channel, y'all, because, man, I've got memories, so many memories attached to music. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned, y'all. If y'all not subscribed already, man, subscribe to the channel. Show your boy some love, man. But I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Thanks for watching. Hope y'all liked it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. OMGTYT out.